Hey my friend, Jonah here, and welcome to Lions Mane Media. So for this video, I have another story to share with you. Once, there was a kingdom under siege. A rival nation had declared war on them, and its forces were marching forth, getting closer and closer by the day. While the kingdom lacked a large standing army, they were blessed with a natural fortification in the form of a mountain range. The only way for an army from the opposing nation to enter would be through a deep valley between two mountains. There would be only one obstacle in the way before their enemies would be free to ravage their lands, for a massive fortified gate spanned that valley, having been constructed many years ago. It was there that the kingdom would put on its first defense. With the farmlands behind the gate and a reservoir provided by their dam in the mountain, they hoped to be able to outlast their foes' resources. To fill in their ranks, the kingdom hired mercenaries, many of which were paid in advance, as well as calling for able-bodied citizens to serve in the defense of their lands. As such, Merc and farmer being on watch together was much more common than not, and so naturally, conversations were bound to take place. "So, what do you think of all this?" a mercenary asked his partner on her night watch. "Feeling a bit scared? This must be a lot for someone like you." "I will admit I have never been in battle, so I do not know what to expect," the farmer replied. The merchant adopted a wry smile. "Well, let me tell you what I've learned over my years of experience, is that the way to win a war is to be the one who survives to enjoy the spoils." "Shouldn't the focus be on completing the duty we've been tasked with?" "Ha! No. What really matters is gold. It's what the world runs on anyway. Life is all about just making sure you have enough to get everything you want." The merc leaned back, his hand wandering to the small set at his hip he recently acquired. "But you can't eat gold. What good is gold if our lands are destroyed? You can always buy new land. You can even buy your own country with enough gold. What if something happens to my family? Are you saying gold will just be able to make everything better?" "Well," the merc shrugged as he began to respond, only to be interrupted by the sound of an explosion. Both men watched in horror as the top of one of the towers by the gate began to tremble. They looked out over the valley and saw hundreds of torches start flickering to life. The enemy had arrived. The farmer looked back at the merc, hoping to learn of a plan, only to see him gathering and storing his weaponry. "What are you doing?" "Hey, you people said nothing about them having explosives. This date won't last the hour, so I'm out of here, and I would suggest you do the same if you have any sense." At that very moment, a thud came as a small ball of metal landed by them, leaving the merc to lunge down the stairs as the farmer froze. It felt like eternities passed, yet the ball remained motionless. Another explosion, this time from the far side, snapped the farmer from his daze. The merc was right. The gate was going to come down. One dead was only a minor delay of that inevitable fact. And with the fall of the gate, the castle would be the last defense. But how long would that last against such firepower? The farmer looked up to the mountains. Maybe there might be safety up there. Yet there was no way for him to tell his family to mate for them. He looked at the explosive again, almost wishing it had gone off. Then he looked at the mountains again as an idea began to form. Grabbing a pair of stats, he wrapped the ball up nice and snug and took off. He ran to a set of stairs carved into the mountain, and began to climb as fast as he dared with his vital Tardo in tow. Another round of explosions hit the gate, but he had to hope that it would last long enough. He climbed up and past the dam to a small overlook. He could see everything, the gate, the enemy, even the castle in the far distance. The farmer unwrapped the explosive, and gingerly lifted it up with a silent prayer running through his mind. He then hurled the ball with all his might at the dam below. The explosion almost knocked him off the ledge. The farmer regained his footing. He looked over and watched the raging water cascade into the valley below. Once rested, he began to make his way down and survey the situation. The gate, well damaged, would be able to hold the water for a little while, and the only sign that remained of the enemy army were some commanders making a hasty retreat on horseback. The farmer was given a hero's welcome upon reaching the gate, and the kingdom planned to throw a feast in his honor. But before he attended it, all he wanted to do was to spend some time on his land with his family. And that's the end of that tale, at least as best I can put it for now. Probably I'll do a video on the pros and cons of final endings in the future, but for now, there is a point to be made with the story. And it's the importance of knowing what is being incentivized. A Merc who's prepaid has only the honor to hold them to continue doing their job, while someone who has something they can actually lose may be willing to go above and beyond to see it safe. And whether we realize it or not, a lot of the behaviors we may deride at some point or another are also incentivized at some point or another. What we reward or tolerate is what we will get. For example, if a child throwing a tantrum is being given attention and also granted whatever they want for the reason why they're throwing the tantrum, why wouldn't they do it again? It's basically just been proven to them that it's a way to get what they want. And again, if we allow someone to proverbially walk all over us, then why would they ever stop? They're basically being allowed or tolerated to do whatever they want. And then, these things happen because we are giving them what they want. Yet, once we realize this thing about incentives, we can then start to incentivize the kinds of things we do want to see. There's a story I remember from Tris Valton about when he was running a business and had some young employees. And he was led on the fact that they were at a time in their lives where they wanted instant gratification. So, in order to motivate them, he kind of went in this process of, okay, instead of paying them at the end of the month, I'll pay them at the end of the week. Didn't work. Then he was like, okay, I'll pay them at the end of the day. Didn't work. And it kept going, and it went to the point where it was like, okay, you can take the cash out of the task register as you do your job. And that's what finally got them motivated, because they had the instant gratification that would actually be motivating them to get the work done. And so the thing is, we can look for things in ways that are kind of like, okay, how can I make this much more incentivized for something to happen and so forth. And it also lets us be watchful for systems that could probably really use a change. Because again, most systems are exchanges between two or more parties. And the thing is, sometimes they're constructed in such a way that can actually harm one party when it seems like it should be a neutral exchange almost. And again, this is kind of a thing that is, I'm not sure what I can say about it, because there's a lot of industries that are probably in that category, or at least have people operating in that category. I'm not saying all industry, it could be something like all industries have them, but not all those industries, everyone is operating that way. Is that how you would say it? Don't know. But anyway, those are just my thoughts. So why not share yours in the comments below? And if you like this story and the video, please hit like and subscribe, as it does help with growth for this channel. Anyway, I hope you have a great rest of your day, and I'll talk to you later.